I lucked out, knew Madeline, and introduced me, and the rest is history.
I'm Madeline Suits, and I've been doing this 22 years. And yeah, positive. And I started off as Lisa Pinson's. Well, I started, but I was like, oh, I'm going to be an agent. And my parents were like, you'll never make it. You're not.
Mine did too.
Yeah, you're not from the South.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're thinking. I was like, thanks for encouragement.
Yeah.
And then I got my license, and Barbara Kyle, who's a training center is named off of, I told her that I wanted to work with someone, and she was like, no. They used the term back then that you were a hunter or a skinner. Like you either hunted, you either hunted the leads or you knew how to work the leads, basically. And she's like, you're a hunter, I guess. I don't know, maybe that was the term, I don't know, whatever. And I was like, no, I really want to work for someone, because back in the day, we didn't have Keller Williams and training and all that. It was very hardcore type of, like, literally just cold calling. And so I went and worked for Lisa Pinson as her assistant, and then left her in 1999. So I started in 96, 97. I left Lisa in 99 and started my own. Okay. We really just want this to be about y'all. So, I mean, we obviously brought topics, but we're open to discussing literally whatever you all want to discuss. So, we're gonna go a little different than the list.
We'll just move marketing down.
We're gonna move marketing now, unless you really want to talk about that. When we thought about, okay, well, what do we want to talk to y'all about? We've had a lot of ahas lately. Let me start by saying that we both have 2 coaches. So we have one that is a MAPS coach. So I want to say that's more business. And then we also have one that is a business and probably mindset coach with performance shoes. So we do have.
This was a new thing.
Yeah.
We've always only had one coach.
Like how new? Like 2018 new?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the past couple months. And we teetered whether or not bringing in this extra expense, this extra coach. I think it's been extremely beneficial to have more of the mindset and everything, and then working on the business, like more action items. So it is.
And 2 totally different people.
Styles,
everything. And so it's not every week, but it is probably an hour and a half each week in coaching on it. And then plus we have our team meeting, and then we have 411s with our team as well. So that, and for me, I think the big thing is our growth mindset. I mean, it is constantly, how can we think through this, get bigger through this, and even we're learning a lot about ourselves personally. Nina is a conventional thinker and I'm an unconventional thinker. And what that means is a lot of you that have been through bowl with the million toothpicks dropping at you. Nina's going to grab her fair share that most of you are going to grab, and I am going to grab those and additionally more of those, and I'm going to grab definitely ones that you didn't grab. So it's just a different way of looking at things and thinking of things. Nina's going to be easier to understand than I'm going to be, because I'm just going to assume you get what I'm saying, and Nina will actually be clearer with the way she speaks. So again, how we're talking to different people and different clients matters too.
I wanted to point out too, remember when we started we had a coach early on, and it took a break for a while, I think, when the market tanked, and got a coach back. I think an important thing, remember that one year we got a coach, and then we went to so many family reunion and mega camp and all these classes and everything, and we were like panic because we were going to be out of town so much that we're like, oh, the business is going to suffer. It was the best year we'd had.
We were each in bold once. I was in it twice. we went to Recharge, Mastermind, Family Reunion, something else.
Do you take action items from each of those, like family reunions, and you've actually applied
Not a
them?
lot.
Okay.
No, but I will say that I
They're
don't.
not gonna be implemented.
Yeah. But I do go with the idea that I'm only going to focus on one thing.
Okay.
So if it's listings is what I'm going to focus on, or marketing is what I'm going to focus, that is my mindset, and that, and everything I will attend will be based on that. I'm not gonna hop all the way all over the board because I am squirrel, and I will literally be like, oh my god, what was that over there? Oh my gosh, let's
We
do that.
spend less time in the vendor selection.
Yeah.
Proud to say.
And I will say, I mean, again, we put at the bottom of our thing, this is reality. Unlike a lot of people, I do not go out there and look to socialize with all these people from all over and meet this agent from California and whatever. I have to tell you, we kind of just huddle amongst ourselves. So again, I know there's a lot of people that, oh, I'm gonna make this, and that's awesome, that is great. I personally want us to work on the business when we're away. So the more time that we spend together with the team and ourselves, the more we will actually get from going to the event, rather than I befriended Bob from Texas and have drinks with Bob.
What is your process in selecting the coach? I mean, how do you know
We interviewed him.
is it trial and error or?
We did interview him.
Mhm.
And that was interesting.
Yeah, it was.
That's what I'm going through right now.
With
It's
Matt?
very
Yes.
uncomfortable.
I'm like, it feels so rigid.
It was just super uncomfortable. Like they were literally like, what are you doing? What is it that you want to do? And literally we were like,
I'm like,
I
you
don't
told me.
know. Well, that was it. I mean, we
Yeah.
were literally like, I don't know. What should I be doing? I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And like, I got off and I was like, God, we're losers on it. But, and honestly, both of them were, probably equally the same. And no offense, we ended up choosing a female. And I really think it was, and I think we thought we were going to choose a male. So I ended up actually going with the female. Again, we're married, we have children. To say that it's not interrelated to what's gonna go on with our business would be wrong. So I think that was the ultimate decision. But it is very uncomfortable, and similar to like a small group at church or a therapist or whatever you wanna call it. My theory is if you don't like them, get rid of them. Next, move on. There is no reason to stay with them.
So you mentioned 411s. Y'all do 411s every team meeting?
No,
Okay, let me.
that would be,
in your.
we're talking about it.
What would be your recommendation? What are you talking about doing? What's making you
What are
talk
we
about the
talking-
411?
what are we talking about?
Now you're doing.
What are y'all talking about? Yeah.
Well, so we have done them intermittently. Is that the word? Intermittent?
That's fair.
We go in phases.
Okay.
We're gonna do the 411 and we're gonna go over it, and then 3 weeks go by and we're like, it's whatever. What's the holiday coming up? And we're like, oh, we're all not gonna be here on Monday. And then guess what? 1 week goes by and then you don't do the 411 the next week, and then that person had to show property that day, so then you don't do it the next week, and
The whole month is
guess
gone.
what? 2 months have gone by, and then your coach says to you, how are those 411s going? And you're like, well, I haven't done those in a while. However, though, we keep coming back to it. And I know repeatedly, y'all, if I hear it one time, I must hear it 50 times a day. Keller Williams has so many systems, and I can't implement all the systems, and I mean, how do I do all of them? I get it. However, though, I will tell you, we are implementing the 411 again next week.
Okay, great.
I will let you know how that
Gina
goes.
was working on it.
Gina, I literally looked at her, I was like, "Ah."
15 minutes ago.
I literally was like, you look so like you're really studying. She was like, I am.
So you
And
putting it in your calendar? Are y'all putting it
we have
in your
scheduled
calendar?
appointments with each of them to do their 411.
Are y'all
After
doing your
the
411?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, yes.
How much time do you dedicate to that
Supposed to be only 10 minutes.
per person?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, it is not a therapy session. I did though, Nina, and I did say though that for this one, because we haven't done them in a while, we're gonna do them together with them, and then we will probably divide it out. I will tell you that the game changer system for us in the past, I don't know, 18 months, has been the
Pipeline.
pipeline.
Pipeline review?
The pipeline tool of your listings and buyers in the Keller Williams system.
The CGI.
The CGI pipeline. So I just got tired of going to events and people saying, I have 200 265 people in my pipeline. I was like, oh, you do not. That is what I was like, who has 265 people in their pipeline? Well, I realized what they're doing is they're just, instead of your business going like this, they are tracking their business, so they know that 4 months out, they have 5 buyers that are gonna buy in 4 months. In 6 months, they've got 8 buyers. So you're able to manage your business more across. Also for us, we don't forget about them. So the idea that, and again, I know you all have different systems, whether it's Top Producer, Wise Agent, or a sheet of paper, which a lot of you love to use. I guarantee you that your 35 buyers that you are sellers that you think you're gonna sell or buy in the next year, or in your computer or whatever, if you do not look at them weekly, you are not touching them. And then you're irritated because then they chose, you call them that, you finally touch base with them and they're like, oh, we bought it for sale by other guys. Well, guess what? Your fault.
In the growth mindset.
You didn't touch them.
Clarity is power. So we're learning to become clearer with our systems, our tools, managing them, leading the team, all of our numbers. We're constantly working on it. And also, with our systems, we've just been using Wise Agent. So we don't have a flashy, we don't spend a lot of money. It basically houses our database. And then we communicate within the team just on Google Docs. I mean, it's that simple. We've got running lists, so anybody can access it from anywhere. And our listing manager updates his stuff, and we can track, so we keep everything in one spot, as well as every day we're keeping track of how many calls we're making, how many leads we're receiving, how many appointments we've gone on, how many people are we adding to our sphere. So Sarah keeps all of that weekly, well daily, but by week.
And that's in Wise Agent, you said?
That
No.
Google Docs.
Google,
Isn't it
Google
Drive?
Google Docs.
Yeah,
Got it.
no,
It's
it's
awesome.
Google Docs.
Yeah. And literally, and then we also, the biggest push that we did, so we did a contest this month, and it was how many people we added to the database. So the team added 86 people to the database this month. And Carrie got,
A Starbucks gift card. That's what she wanted.
we did $20 for like every restaurant here in town, Brookhaven, but she said she wanted 1 Starbucks, so we just added up and gave her 1 Starbucks.
So 2 questions, because we use Wise Agent as well. Do you run your marketing through Wise Agent, or do you use a separate program like a MailChimp and the two are not connected?
We run it separate.
You do use it separately?
Wise Agent is just a $19.99 a month, house everybody in there.
She does MailChimp.
Your
She
database,
does
you mean
some
when you say
things
that?
through EO.
We just started with Bomb Bomb.
Oh, there you are.
Wait, what is
If
it
you
called?
need to know anything, ask Sarah.
Bomb Bomb?
Bomb Bomb, like, I'm gonna drop a bomb on videos.
Yeah. We're starting, yeah.
Evan?
Oh, that's what I was gonna ask.
Okay.
Talking about working hard, Madeline, do you feel, can you kind of talk about the progression of what it looked like when you first started versus now, or do you feel like it's the same?
Okay, so this is really the heart of my talk to you. I bust my tail all the time. And I think I said it when Ben talked last week. If you don't want to work all the time, and again, I'm not saying like day in, day out, like every hour on the hour, but if you are not gonna put your client,
will to work.
yeah, if you have no passion for this, or you get irritated when people call, this is not the business for you. I mean, 22 years later, y'all, I still love what I do. Do I love every moment of it? Every person? No, I don't. But I literally will take your call, and again, I don't recommend this to all of you, but I just want you to know how I am. I will take your call anytime. I will, if you stop me in the hall, I will talk to every single one of you anytime you need it. I will drop my kid in a heart-wrenching conversation because someone needed to go show a house and Gina couldn't make it. I will miss something because that's what someone needed. It's just the way I'm wired. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I mean, the doctor told me to get off the phone with Nina so I could have my son. Dead serious. Like, he was like, if you do not hang up the phone, you're going to have the child right now. So again, we were at the luxury thing last or whatever last week, and Brady, somebody from Palm Springs, and I adored him. And he literally said his value proposition was, and it literally, like, it was an aha, like it gave me, is that he will work harder than anybody else for you. And I was like, that is my value proposition. I will outwork you, period. And I said, and again, I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but for what I want to do for my team and my family, and the fact that I do get a rush from the things that we do, it works for me. Again, I'm not saying it works for everyone. You just have to figure out what is that, and again, what aspect of the business maybe is it that does that for you. So that's, I mean, work hard, play hard, yes. I mean, Nina definitely, when she goes on vacation, she needs vacation. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or, and that's the reason we have the partnership we have. If I go on vacation, I'm not going to answer the phone, but I absolutely know what's going on. I mean, Sarah will repeatedly be like, we've got it.
Get off your phone.
Get off your phone. So, and again, I'm not saying it's right, I just want you to know where I'm coming from on it.
Sort of a side question. How do you hold yourselves accountable and the people on your team accountable? Is there a system of accountability?
Working on it.
Well, I have found that, and again, I was in coaches skills, what was it, 2 weeks ago? I've broken a board, I don't know, 5 times. And there was a question in the book, and it was like, what is the last thing that you've done personally or business, I think that you succeeded at? And it said, why did you succeed? And I'm always watching what I eat or going to work out or whatever. So it's always diet. I don't know why. That's always what comes to mind with me. But anyway, I had to think, when was the last time I was successful with it? Well, what I found out for me is success to me is not one-on-one accountability, it's multiple accountability. So I literally said in front of the team at the meeting that Monday, I said, if I would actually get on the phone, I could produce 50 referrals for y'all. And that's when they all looked at me and they said, well, get on the phone. Well, all of a sudden, and literally, so Sarah has a list. Sarah holds me accountable that I have to make X amount of calls. I'm going through the database and I'm making some hard calls, y'all.
What would be an example of a hard call?
People I haven't talked to in years.
So what does that conversation look like?
A lot of times it's a message. I don't have any problem with leaving a message. Hey, it's Madeline. I am so sorry that I have not caught up with you in a while. By the way, we're doing a pumpkin patch. I mean, mine is always very casual. I'm not going to ask for business, but you know I'm here if there's anything that you need.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. I mean, and honestly, it's getting over the hump that they don't want to talk to you, because honestly, they love to talk to us. Love it. And they act like we've never missed a beat. I'm the one that's having the panic inside.
How much of the business that you generate is referral-based inbound stuff versus, and then how much of it is outbound, like you're intentionally looking for new business?
Sarah?
We're about 80% referral or repeat sphere-based business, and then 20% falls into those other categories.
So when you're talking about going out and creating these referrals, and you're calling past clients, you're not calling FISBOs or expires or anything like that. Okay.
We don't call any of those. Now,
When
we
you started,
haven't-
did you do that, or where did that shift for you? Was it always just database and that's it?
It's always been database.
Okay.
Do you
Not have an ISA.
Yes.
Wait, what?
She also did.
Yes, and I have to tell you, I have a major internal struggle with it, because I do feel like I'm feeding the devil. However, I will tell you our rate of return is
Oh, and what?
Zillow.
We're at we've made about 150,000 GCI this year from Zillow.
Shut up.
What's your
We spend $1,600 a month.
Congratulations.
But I will tell you though, I also will tell you that if if you're new in the business and you're looking to get your business right, would I tell you to do Zillow? No, I think you're nuts. Why would you pay that? We have the money to pay it, and $1,600 is nothing compared to what some people spend. I know there's people that spend $10,000 a month.
Who takes those leads? Who converts them on your team?
Shannon takes the initial call and then filters them out. And it's an immediate return. I have to tell you though, the majority of those are picked up off of listings. So it's not like, wouldn't you say that's true?
That's a 13% conversion rate.
That's high. That's really high.
Yeah, it's really high.
Like
Yeah, Justin Landis was talking about 3%.
Justin Landis, he was talking about the solid people on his team, and I know Grace is really good at this. I think they get up to 6% conversion. And it's true because he talks about it, and it's almost in the sense of like, well, if someone converts 1 to 3% and another person converts 6%, you know, you want to focus for someone where it's in their wheelhouse, where it's in their talent and their skill. So I think that's a good question for us to be asking ourselves, like, is this something that we are either working on our skill, or is this something natural, you know, and is it worthwhile to stay?
And do you
They're really good at it.
Yeah, they are very good at it. And do you have the manpower to respond immediately and drop everything to go? If you don't, that is not a good investment for you.
And nurture,
Yeah.
because it's not instant.
So Shannon will basically like set the appointment and then
And it's, yes, we will show it to you. Yes,
Is that
we're
what
going
y'all do? Just get them in the house.
That's the first question I ask, when would you like to see the property?
Yeah.
And then
Are
I
you a
go
serial
in.
killer? Does not get that.
I didn't ask on Monday, are you a serial killer?
Do you require a driver's license before you meet them there, or any kind of anything?
Oh my God.
They bring handguns, so.
no one's been killed yet.
So far, so good.
Again, it would not be my recommendation here's the other thing too.
You don't have to send them.
I pay attention to it, and I will tell you, y'all, I think it's a weird system. I mean, we'll go a month and nothing, and then all of a sudden they'll be like 5. I feel like they just kind of keep you, so you got, you know, I don't know.
Right.
I think it's bizarre, but again, it's worked for us because of the rate of return. Every month I have a internal battle with myself on it.
Hey, what's the one thing y'all have done in your 33 Touch program that you think all of us should implement like today?
Great question.
Work on calls.
That's not revolutionary though.
I know. It's not.
It's events.
That's it.
It's events.
Events.
Okay, so the only way you get the calls out of us is if we have an event coming up.
Gotcha.
Okay? Because that's an easy call.
You got a reason to call.
Correct.
Okay.
There's a pumpkin patch coming up. I got a reason to call you.
So how many events are y'all having now? Have you
We try to do
We try to do 4.
for a year?
So we do the Braves game, and I'll give you an idea. I mean, y'all, our RSVP to our Braves game last year was 465 people. And again, I guess I've never looked at it the way until Robin said it to me. Our clients really want to spend time with us. And that's what you need to get to that point. So I mean, y'all, I remember our first Braves game, we always made the mistake, we'd do them later in the year, it was too hot. I literally was like, hey, y'all enjoy the game, I'm going home. Like, I literally was like, hot, you know, wet towel, the cooler, like around my neck, like dying. Literally, I cannot tell you how often we'll be at the Braves game and people will literally be like, I'll be like, all right, y'all, we have to pack up all this stuff, and I am gonna go in, I do go in. But I was like, we're gonna pack up all the coolers and all the food and whatever, and we'll see y'all in the game. They're like, no, we'll wait for you. I'm like, oh my God, why are you waiting for me? I mean, we're kind of done chatting. But they really do want to hang out, and we are nothing fancy. There is nothing fancy. It is beer in a cooler. It is barbecue or chicken fingers and chips. It is
Awesome.
cookies from Costco. And you have to realize, y'all, I lived with this like guilt, like we have CEOs that are coming and we are in nosebleed seats and they're used to like being, and I'm like, they're gonna be like this or whatever, but we're in the shade. So literally they're like, these are great. And I'm like, and let's all remember, it's free. So the truth is, it's the first game that they generally will go to in a year. It's the first game they will ever bring their kid to because it's easy. And for people like me and a lot of our clients, it's the only game they will go to all year.
Well, this year it rained and you guys still had a good turnout, right? Yeah.
Oh
Don't
my
get me
gosh.
started.
It was it never, so it rained.
with it.
And I mean, it rained. And then they called it, so then they got to reuse the tickets. So then we got to give them out again. Sarah mailed some, people came and picked them up. And then it rained out again.
Oh my gosh.
And we didn't do the
Wow.
whole shebang. But this ticket thing went on for till last weekend.
Yeah,
I got a call from the ticket stand. One of my clients was at the gate and they're like, they won't let us in. And I literally got on the phone and I was like, just do whatever it takes to get my clients into the game. I don't care what it costs, just get them in. This went on, this has been going on now for whatever, however long a break season is.
So y'all got like 50 touches out of this one
That's
game?
right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you though,
Multiple.
it was a real letdown for us. Like, I think it like hurt me for like months that it wasn't, because it rained out. So like, I do get very emotionally affected when something doesn't go well.
Mhm. Did you have control with the weather?
Well,
You remind me,
and
Sarah.
she's not telling the whole story because you guys still had a good turnout.
Oh,
Because we were down the street.
Well, and I can't tell you how many people that were like, we thought about not coming, but we would never do that.
Wow.
And drug their kid, y'all, I'm telling you, like, it was a monsoon.
The other half was
It was cold.
I said
Oh,
the other
half was okay of just not showing up.
What month was it?
When was
April.
Into April.
April showers.
So are the majority of your client events, are they families or is it an
We do
evening
both.
event?
We do a wine, we usually do a wine party, so that's more the adults. We do the pumpkin patch and the Braves game, which is more families, and then we usually try to do a woman's charity event. So we do try to gear to all different people on it.
So are you inviting like all your clients in your database that you close a transaction with, or just the clients that year
Nope,
that?
they all get invited.
The big ones, we do have VIPs that are like our top 25 or 50 per person. So last year we did something special. We did, was it Jeff Rothman or whatever that does the Santa photos, the great Santa photos.
And it got
So-
snowed out.
That was really rough.
That was another rough weekend.
But our VIPs got that invitation that wasn't open to everybody.
Where did you do that?
It's
At
in
his
Decatur.
Oh, at his, got
Yeah.
it, okay.
What else?
What qualifies as a VIP? Whoever bought from you that year, or
Referrals.
who sent you that many referrals?
And I literally, in a perfect world, y'all,
Cheerleader.
I would love to openly tell people that if you either qualified for that or you didn't, I would love to really promote that to them, because I think people want what they didn't get or couldn't have. So guess what? If I didn't get invited, I'd probably be like, wow, what do I need to do next year to go to that party?
Would you advertise it like that next time?
We've thought about it with our VIP party. Or recognizing them at the event, which we have done that. I mean, you can't legally promote a contest, but we did give a weekend at Old Edwardson to our top referral source at the party in front of everybody. On it.
So what do you spend on some of these events?
I'd say tops.
It varies, and we also try to get our vendor partners to chip in. But I'd say like the most, like that Jeff Rothman event was our most expensive, and it was
$6,000.
Yeah, it was 6,000. But I mean, the people that ended up, he did a reschedule, later that week, and the people who went said it was like a top-notch event. You couldn't beat it.
Even our Braves game really ends up topping out right about that, and our average commission right now is about $14,000, so I need one deal for that event, one. And then I've more than made my money back on it. And generally I'm gonna get more than one deal from 465 people, God forbid we hope attend on it. What else?
If y'all can think back from when you were a team, a small team, and you needed to add somebody, what was the deciding factor, if y'all can think about what made you do it in order to grow your team the way you have? And I know this is probably a while ago.
I think we were always told admin.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think that was what we were told.
Yeah.
And because, remember, the theory is if
The what?
if you're doing it, you're the admin.
Right. Yeah. So you have your admin,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's like 60 transactions before you bring someone else on. And that seems like a lot to me. What are y'all's
We're a
thoughts about
hybrid.
that? Huh?
We're what we call a hybrid. We don't
Okay.
exactly follow the model.
Oh, I
With
got
that,
it. Okay.
you know, stepping stone, so certainly, I mean,
Yeah.
we technically should have another assistant based on the volume, but when you have
Yeah.
Superstar back there.
Yeah. So you only have one
She can
admin.
handle a lot.
Sarah's the only one?
So we've got, Nina and I only handle listings, and then Sarah is the full-time admin. Jay is our listing manager, so he actually does our drone photos, schedules the stager, does everything to get the listing in a sense on the market. And then he's,
Like a
and then-
listing
yeah.
manager?
yeah, and then he's done.
not licensed.
And then he's not he's the only one not licensed. And then we have Gina, Carrie, Shannon, and Porter are all buyer's agents. And then, I mentioned in Best, we just hired a vendor concierge, and she deals with the, we have a listing coming on the market, and, they have to get painting, lighting, et cetera, and the stager recommends that, but then she goes and gets the bids and coordinates it and does all of that. So going back to hire, and I talked to Beth about this the other day, in my world, that's about a $20 an hour job, okay? So for all of you that are going to meet the painter at the house to get your client's quote for them,
Yeah.
$20. Are y'all worth $20 an hour? Because you're now in the vendor business, you're not in the real estate sales business. So we just got tired of doing that. And being stood up by a vendor, the vendor not showing up, that whatever, so.
Well, it was taking away from our time that we should be calling our clients and doing things that are dollar productive.
And you get angry. Like,
Yeah.
and again, what you feel internally comes out externally to your clients, your family, your children, et cetera.
On piggybacking on your team and adding people, I think as we're in our growth mindset, we're always learning, and I mean, but it's really taken to this year that we got real with our numbers, because as we add the people, you just assume that you're gonna exponentially like increase your number of transactions. So we've always set the bar so high that we've always, I mean, we're happy with what we do, but when you don't hit it, you're disappointed. So we've learned that it's more like a hockey stick. Like, we've got to change the way we look at our growth, and it may be, if you're extreme growth, it plateaus for a year or two, but then you're gonna all of a sudden take off. So we had to get real with the numbers instead of overestimating the amount of deals that we would bring in, or double counting them because it was my lead but Gina's working them, and then we're both counting them, and so then our numbers are so inflated.
So like goal setting, we did an event where we went and did the electric cars down on the Beltline, and then we went to Murphy's and had lunch, and we kind of did our kind of goal planning, and everybody kind of went around and said, oh, I'm gonna do X amount of deals, and I literally was like, really? And they were like, yeah, and I was like, well, you didn't do that this year. I said, so why do you think you're gonna do that? What are you gonna do different? And they were like, well, I mean, I think I'm gonna do different. I'm like, but you're not. I mean, let's be real on it. And I said, I'm not setting a goal based on your hopes and dreams.
Right.
And trust me, I love a bold double your number. However, though, we got tired of being like, I mean, I wanna set something realistic. And then, as Nina said, when you hire somebody, don't assume that that person's gonna, be a Grace or a Gina or something, that they're gonna come out of the gate and do 10, 15, they're not. I honestly believe that if you get someone that comes out of the gate, and if by chance they did 7 to 10 deals their first year, you got a winner on your hands. I mean, but it's gonna take some time to ramp up. I mean, it's gonna take some time to ramp up. You know, they don't know as many people as you know. They don't know how to ask for business. They don't have credibility. I mean, cut yourself some slack. Cut your team some slack. I mean, I love me some standards, but let's be real about it. What people can and can't do.
So what are your goals, like, if you bring a buyer's agent on, do you have a goal of what they should reach that year? Like
I would love it if they did one a month. And do I have a standard? No. I'm just not that rigid. We are just not. And it's interesting. So when I say HPV, but it's called HVP. But either way, it doesn't sound good. But we just did this we did this whatever test we both did, and it said that I think it said we were both perfectionists. And I do not consider myself a perfectionist at all. And then my coach said to me the other day, perfectionist does not mean you have a clean house. I am a perfectionist in terms of what I expect out of you. I'm just not a perfectionist about everything has to be in order and
It has to look perfect before you send it out.
yeah,
Right.
that's not me. However, though, but if you told me you were going to do it, I have a real hard time if you didn't do it. And I'm exactly that way with my kids. Just do it. What's your problem? So again, it's just a different perfectionism. And again, I have to be careful how it's delivered to. On it.
I have a question back to your value props. I think I have the same mindset, I will outwork you, I'm so competitive, let's go.
Yeah.
But how do you still be a normal person outside of real estate? Where do you, I'm not either. So where's the balance? I don't want that much balance, but I want to be a little bit.
Not burnt out.
Leverage.
Not burn out.
I mean, I think it is weeding out the stuff. So our coach the other week said, what are things that take away your energy? And literally she was like, you probably need to get some adrenaline vitamin. She goes, I'm afraid you're just your adrenaline glands are gonna give out one day. And I was like, gosh, I go to Dr. Berry's. Kind of panicked. But I think you have to figure out what is it that sucks your energy away from you, and those are the things that you have to leverage out.
Well, and where do you want to put your energy?
Yeah. And then the things that suck my energy, I leverage out, but then I don't want to train that person to do those things because I hate them. So it's
No.
We're not good trainers.
No.
We are not good trainers.
We're not.
It's current
That is not our strong suit at all. On it.
Nor should we be the ones training.
That is the reason that, even I have to tell you with the 411, we pulled up a KW video, sent it to the team with their instructions how to do a 411. You do not want to hear my version. If they need to figure out how to use the FMLS, they need to go to FMLS. They don't need, because you have bad habits, I have bad habits, and I don't need to transfer them to everybody else. But my theory is that I live and breathe what I do, but I will say, Nina will say, I can't tell you how many years I've spent where I'm on the phone and then I turn to Nina and I say, oh my gosh, was I really mean? And she's like, you're not as mean as you think you are. I know you think you're all engrossed in real estate 24/7. However, though, everyone knows you are a very kind, sweet person, and that you aren't only about real estate because they know you do have other hobbies. Right. It just scarily can become a lot of your identity.
How do you compensate, sorry, totally random, how do you compensate your listing manager, and who's responsible for marketing, and how is that compensated?
So our listing manager is a per listing fee. He's just a contract. We tried a salary, and that absolutely did not work. And I will tell you, this is just my personal opinion. I think salaries can get really, really hard in our business because your mindset is going to be you can do it quicker and faster. Mm-hmm. And so you're always being like, well, they didn't get that done. They didn't get that done. Now your admin, I think, is totally different. That's a salary, that's bonuses, that's, 401k. I mean, you need to go the gamut, whatever you need to do in terms of that. What is their hot button? And then marketing falls under Sarah, under our admin.
And what do you pay per transaction for your listing? I know you've got a higher volume, right? However, is there a range?
$500 a listing, and then if they do have to relist it, they're paid $250.
Keep in mind, he does more than, he goes out and shoots drone videos.
Yes.
And makes the videos and has a in-house consultation with the client and does the walkthrough and the detail, so it's more personal touches.
It's intensive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little plussing it.
Okay.
A little more relational. However, they'll realize a lot of the inputting it into FMLS and MLS, I mean, well, anyone can do that.
So are you saying when y'all take the listing, your listing manager goes back to the house, meets with the seller one-on-one or whomever?
Walks through their
And
house.
walks through the house with them, takes the notes, and so they can tell.
We don't do any of the note taking.
We don't do any of that.
Wow.
He
Awesome.
sends paperwork, he does the communication, he gets the
Awesome.
keys.
That's pretty
He schedules the stager, the photographer.
I know you said that you focus, I'm not trying to be smart, but I know you said you focus on listing. So what are you doing?
No.
I mean,
Not enough.
I mean,
Not enough, right.
Right. So
If you look at our
you
listing
building
board.
obviously the relationship, and that's not to say that's pretty much it, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so when I get, like, if a client,
Love it.
so a past client calls in, and they're like, all right, Madeline, we wanna sell and buy.
Right.
I will work the selling side, and then I give it out to one of the buyers team, and they will work the buying side. So we strictly handle them on the listing side, and then someone else handles on the buyer's side.
Oh, as far as negotiations and things.
Everything.
Okay. there
So
you
we
go.
go on the listing appointment. The listing manager doesn't go on the listing appointment.
Oh, okay.
We do all that. Any call-in, anything like that. Also, if the buyer's team will go out and door knock prior to an open house of a new listing. And if they find a potential listing, they turn it in and we go on the listing appointment, and then they have them on the buy as well.
Okay. And then additionally, we're all making calls. So we have our kind of GPS that we focus on the list side, and we help the buyer's team find houses for their buyers. So we're calling other agents and networking that we know that work certain areas. Our clients that may live in another area, trying to open up the market. Great if we get the listing, and great if we could, it's exactly what Gina's buyer's looking for.
So the question always to every agent or anybody we speak to is, hey, do you happen to have anything coming on the market in, Huntley Hills? This is what I'm looking for. No, I don't have any. By the way, do you have anything, is there anything you're looking for that I can help you find? If you reciprocate with all these agents out there, they will in turn reciprocate with you. The market will turn. Don't be a bad agent. Because if you were a jerk during the good times, nobody's gonna help you out during the bad times. Always though, how can I help you? What is it? And I will tell you the number one thing that we asked in our team meeting, how is it that we can help you reach your goal, hence reaching the team goal before the end of the year? And the number one thing was inventory. The buyers, agents need houses for their buyers on it. So hence those calls become ours too, on it.
What is one action that you would say you're either preparing now for the shift, or one action that you took in, let's say 2010, that really carried you through the challenging market?
I would say what we're doing right now, preparing for next year, is coming up with the new 8x8.
Which consists of what?
Well, doing the bombs, so more videos, phone calls, more touches. Sarah's got it all laid out for the 8x8. We want to hit them hard to ramp up for first quarter next year.
And mine is absolutely calling my database. Even if I haven't talked to them forever, it's scrubbing through that database and figuring out the people that I'm never going to talk to again and getting them off on either way. And our biggest thing, y'all, the reason, I cannot stress to you enough that you having a strong first quarter is a game changer for you. You just don't feel like you're starting behind the eight ball. So if you can come out of the gate strong as opposed to, Vince, 60% will say, I'm kind of done for the year about December 13th. Guarantee you, you're not having a good January.
And to get us through the shift, we had been in the business long enough, built our database and relationships that helped carry us through the downturn of the market. And a lot of hard work.
When you said scrubbing your database and figuring out who you're not gonna talk to, do you actually delete people from your database?
We are now.
It's painful. Hard.
Again though, even Brady said it the other day. Y'all, tech communication is awesome, but if you are not having any face-to-face or any phone conversation, you're not gonna get them long-term. There's no way. If you are not willing to have any phone or face-to-face conversation with people, you will not retain them. And I know there's a theory that, oh, but they might. Why are you spending your money on for a might? I'd rather, like Beth said last week, I'd rather give, $450 worth of Falcon stick to somebody that isn't for sure.
Are you feeling there's less loyalty out there now?
Some clients feel slippery. Feels a little bit more slippery.
I mean, with the influx of agents and everyone's mom, sister, aunt, whatever being an agent, it really is important to show value to that person because in an instant they will pick someone that is their family or whatever the case may be.
I think there's more focus on the long game in terms of potential for a client. And so it's like if you didn't maintain the relationship and they buy 2 years later, someone else maintained the relationship, and you can't just pitch up and expect that they're going to work with you, even if you're closer to them, because someone else has been putting in the work and the time to develop that trust.
Well, here's the other thing. It's not necessarily that someone else got the relationship. They've met someone else.
Yeah.
In their kids' play group or in their neighborhood that's a real estate agent.
Yeah.
So they have to feel some personal connection to you, loyalty, or they owe you. Otherwise, they don't.
When y'all are scrubbing your network, your database, what in your mind is, I'm taking this person out? Like, is it someone who did purchase with someone else or sell their house with someone else?
Yeah, generally.
Is
I don't know where they went, so yes, they would be out.
They
Look
would,
at it
okay.
like, who is that?
Yeah, that is probably the biggest one. The biggest one is,
I'm serious
does
though,
anyone know this person? That's probably the biggest one. And you do have to, and I talk about this with all of my coaching clients all the time, you do have to go through there, and this is where you do have to have help, y'all. I guarantee you that if you go through your list and you get to Bob, you dial Bob's number and the number doesn't work, okay? Well, then you kind of get distracted, and Bob's number didn't work, so then you just don't call Susan because Bob's number didn't work. And that's what happens to you. So literally we have our list, and now I call the person. If there's no number, I put number question mark, I go on to the next one, and then I give my list at the end of the day to Sarah.
Okay.
So you do have to have that, otherwise it's just a bumpy road.
Anybody have a really good name for your lead gen, like when you're calling? Gary always says it's the monotonous boredom and everything. Well,
That's kind of negative.
yeah, it just sounds dreadful, right?
Yeah.
Like I want a new name for it so that makes me feel better about making the calls. Hadn't come up with it yet, that's why I was asking if anybody else.
And Magical Morning
funny.
sounds pretty good.
It
You
does.
can always use Money Magnet even.
Yeah,
Money
something about
Because
money.
you are
Or
a
you
Money
can call it
Magnet.
like business acquisition, if you want something fancy to it.
Opportunity calls.
Yeah, you can call it something like that. Something
Shoe
you want.
fun.
Yeah, right?
Shoe fun, shoe fun.
When you're setting your goals, you've been doing it a long time and made, successful. Do you ever be like, wow, I had a huge year last year. I don't think I can do as much as I did last year.
No.
So every year, the goal gets bigger.
Okay, I'm
Are
not.
you up to like 800 million?
I'm
for
not
the year?
gonna say that the team or people on the team don't say I'd be good with that. I just don't personally. I don't care if it's one more deal, but I'm never gonna just wanna repeat. That just basically says you're not willing to grow. I mean, I always wanna do better. I'm not just okay with, well, that was fine this year, so it'll be fine this year, next year.
Just gonna work smarter, not harder.
Right. For me, it also was a big shift to go from, it was always, because when I started, there was a woman by the name of Best-Stella Prayer, and a long time ago, she literally sold about 1.5 million house every month, and I was like, well, God, that's easy. I mean, you sell 12 of those, you're pretty much where you want to be. I have had to make a major shift in mindset that I do need to do more transactions. It isn't about the dollar, because if I do the transactions, ultimately the dollars will happen. So we do back into it somewhat based upon dollars. Is a lot of times how I do it. However, though, at the end of the day, it does come down. The transaction is always the goal that we talk
If
about.
we know what our gap is, I don't think either one of us know what our GCI is.
I have no
right
idea.
now.
I only pay attention to the
Would you
number.
want me to let you know?
Yeah. I was like, I know. Slide knows it.
I don't have a clue.
I have no idea.
Karen, you know.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
But, seriously, can I go back to what I was asking y'all before, and Andrew mentioned this, so someone's mom just got into real estate, or, we have kids, your kids, someone's neighbor is a realtor, I mean, as awesome as you guys are, they're gonna choose someone else, so do you really take them out of your database? Are you done? I mean, I'm just curious, because obviously that's happened to me recently, like this
Well,
week,
sometimes
so.
I will guilt them.
Yeah, you will?
I will tell them, I'll be like, well, I totally understand. However, though, I said I really would appreciate if you would think of me next time that you're gonna refer someone.
Especially if they go to your events and stuff.
Yeah.
So that would say, that
Surely
means
they
that you
wouldn't
keep them in,
come
is that what you're saying?
And
I do- I
Tara,
mean,
at the
someone-
same time, that person could fail them that
Yes.
one time.
Yeah.
Because one of the people that didn't call me back, that I sold them their first house ever, and then they bought a condo, he was allured by the shiny object because this person said, I'm going to share my commission with you at closing.
Yeah, could be that, could be that.
And right after closing, his AC went out, and he was calling me for all these things. And I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
you just bought a place? And he was like, yeah, sorry, I should have called you, but someone told me they're going to give me a discount, and I totally regret it at this point because all this stuff happened.
Or they use the family member,
Yeah.
and they would never refer the family member.
Correct.
They would refer you.
Right.
What about the husband? It's the husband's decision,
Again, not who the wife would refer.
That's right, you're right, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
When people refer you clients, do you do anything besides a handwritten note?
They get the tips treats,
Okay.
whether it works out or not.
So even before the
Absolutely.
okay.
Within 24 hours.
Wow. Okay.
Rewards. Yeah.
And Sarah does all that for y'all.
Yes. Sarah's amazing.
Where is
Yeah.
she?
Much
Y'all
better
pay her.
Back there.
She really does.
I just have a
No, she
question.
seems awesome.
I think we're looking at this, and I'm kind of going off of Gary Keller's Technology Revolution that just, the live webinar that they just did. And so I guess my question is, what role does technology play in your business now? And anticipating a shift, what changes are you looking to make in how it affects your business?
I just think I think technology is just a tool that in the end will help a lot of us. It's like when, in a sense, okay, so I was around when the FMLS was private, okay, nobody else had access to it. Honestly, the fact that people can go find their homes and pick out what they like, lessened the work for me. I mean, all of a sudden, otherwise I was showing them again, I've shown 36 houses in a day. So, yeah, thank God it was the day after Halloween and I just ate my way through.
All triplexes?
I'm telling y'all, I went from Alpharetta to Marietta, 36 houses in one day. But y'all, you go show one house to one client, and you go show another, whatever. A lot of that is internet based. The fact that they can weed a lot out.
Yeah.
Now, granted, that did give me the authority more to drive the bus.
Inventory was different then.
And inventory was different. So, I think, again, at the end of the day, I will always go on record that this is a relational business. I don't care what technology out there, y'all.
We're doing the technology.
It's the
Right.
biggest purchase someone's gonna make in their life. Do I wanna make it with, no offense, Kelly, or do I wanna make it with Andrew? It's a personal business. I think it's an aid. I don't think there's any, and yes, you should use the technology to your benefit for marketing and opening up and whatever, but, you know, I don't know if y'all were at family reunion, I guess it was 2 years ago, or tech, when they did the hypothetical that, you know, you were gonna, like, put your handprint, you were gonna go into the house, but no one was actually gonna be there and all that. That is not going to happen, y'all. I mean, this guy in Palm Springs, he did away, and not appointment only, that's not what he's carrying. He has a showing agent for every house because, y'all, people leave the door open, people damage people's houses when they go in it. I mean, this happens on any given day and there's an agent present.
Yeah.
There's no way people are gonna let you blindly go into their houses and you're not gonna be present. There's no way, it's not gonna happen. I'll probably eat my words one day and God's been like.
Well, in a way, it's already kind of happening with Open Door.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it is.
You know, because you can just text and they'll give you the code for you to when you walk
That's gonna
in.
be short.
Yeah,
Those are all
short-lived.
big, though.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, literally, y'all, I mean, I got a call the other day from my client. She's like, this agent took the whatever, they banged the door, they put a hole in the door, going into the bathroom, and she's like, well, what are they gonna do about it? And I was like, they're not gonna do anything about it. It's your word against their word. And she was like, well, who's gonna pay for it? I said, you are. I mean, that's the reality of it, y'all. I mean, unless you're all gonna have cameras in your home, I don't, you know.
So what I'm hearing you say is that it enhances your business, it doesn't substitute any part of your business.
I do not believe so.
I mean, Gary said it's more for the functional side.
Right.
You know, where versus we're the fiduciary.
Yeah.
Tech enables, people are still about the experience.
I had a client call me, and again, I don't work by her, I did happen to work this by her, because everyone was gone, but, she called me and she's like, I need you to talk me off the ledge. Your technology ain't talking you off the ledge. And I mean, we like going through it, and she's like, oh, thank goodness. Alright.
I think the difference is, like, you know, you have people that are buying their cars through a system, right? The car shows up, and there's other people that are doing their taxes online. But what's the majority of people want to have a counselor? It's gonna, some people are gonna be early adopters, they're gonna adopt the all tech only real estate agent, you know, $500 and, you know, there's your deal. But that's not the majority. We've had the discount brokers, we've had the online, it's just another way of looking at it. The majority of people are gonna want to use a counselor, and if you're staying in touch with your database and you're explaining what your value is, at the end of the day, you become a counselor, you become a friend, you're the bartender, you're the therapist, you're the connector, you're everything to them, so you just have to work your database.
While the market is good, all these things enter the market. When the market shifts, we will see a lot of them go away. Again.
So some of us welcome a shift.
What's y'all's overall take on the market today, and what's your crystal ball for 2019?
I believe that the market is good right now, and my crystal ball is, I think you have until May of next year. That is my,
What do you think is gonna happen in May of next year?
I think exactly what you have felt this summer will be the norm.
What do we feel this summer?
So.
Great summer.
I'm not reading.
You know, where you feel like everyone goes out of town and no one's calling and no
Yeah.
one wants to do anything?
Yeah.
I love that.
So like, we had, I mean,
Okay.
we had, 3 weeks ago, we put 7 under contract in 1 week. The past 2 weeks,
Yeah. past
we
2 weeks.
put 1, okay? I think that's gonna be your norm.
Yeah,
as of
right
May of
now,
next year.
right.
So when the market shifts, Tony DeCello says you have to protect your database like fiercely. So it's a castle, that database is within that castle, there's a moat around it, and the only person that make the drawbridge go down is you. Because when the market shifts, you gotta protect that, cause that's who you're gonna be working with.
Yeah.
So the value that you guys show your clients, that's why they come to a baseball game and sit in the rain with you, because they want to talk to you. You think they show value to their clients? You bet. You bet.
I would just say, speaking from a newer agent perspective too, though, is you know, you guys have amassed this database where I have not, right? So my goal is always to go out and meet new people, and line up as many new people in my sphere or database to continue that pipeline of more people, right? And not be satisfied until they become like your clients, which are more dedicated, more awesome, versus I work with a lot of first-time home buyers. There's thousands of first-time home buyers out there, and if I'm the first one to reach them, then I'm going to make that impact, and then they're going to be my client for life. And so that's my attitude going into it as a newer
But
agent.
everyone should be like you.
And as long as you stay in touch with them.
Right.
If you all are not adding to your database,
Yeah.
you will be put out.
Whether
Your
you're
first-time
10 years
home
in
buyer
or knows people.
a year
Yeah.
in.
Right.
Because you're gonna have X amount of fallout in your database every year, and that's those people that don't
Yeah.
move out of state, whatever. I mean, you know, so you're gonna have X amount of fallout. You have got to grow that database, and especially when you do look at teams like a Ben Kinney or whatever, and those sort of things, where you're talking, y'all, these people are building monsters of numbers. I mean, monsters of numbers. So again, and I know some people are very content with, you know, I have my 100 people and those are great and whatever. I just have to believe at the end of the day, when you deal with market shifts, it's a numbers game.
Market shifts you up, and also bringing in the mindset and the positivity and the energy that you put out, because you are what you attract. And one thing that we've been talking about lately is, instead of, you know, we've had a couple slower weeks with the contracts, instead of focusing on, or getting down that we didn't make the buyer appointment, we didn't hit the listing appointment goal, whatever, we're looking at the actions that we're taking in order to produce the result, focusing our energy there, because if we do those things, then it's going to produce it.
Like planting the seed.
I am such a believer, y'all, that if you put it out there, it will happen. I mean, I believe it, and I never believed that until Keller Williams, ever. You're exactly the way you think will produce what you want on it. Hard work helps, but if you're not putting the right mindset out there, that's exactly what you're attracting. And think about it, if you're going through a situation where you've had a lot of bad clients in a row,
Look in the mirror.
what does Diana say?
Look in the mirror.
If you're pointing at somebody else, there's 4 fingers pointing back at you.
And that does happen a lot with newer agents, would you agree? I mean, you kind of start to learn which clients are gonna be
It happens with everybody.
all
I
the
think
time.
it happens with everybody.
Okay.
I think
in the beginning.
lately.
Really? Yeah.
I mean,
I guess it just goes in waves.
We fired our first, I mean, I would say we truly fired our first client ever in my history.
Ever. Yeah.
It was a listing.
Yeah.
And he begged me not to fire him.
Mm-hmm.
We still ended up letting him go. And then one of the people, anyway, needless to say, we still got paid on it, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good job.
Last question.
So, 2 questions.
Yeah.
What would be your perfect typical day of real estate? Like when you wake up, when you get your kids to school, when you lead gen, when you do listing appointments?
So we actually used the term the other day that we actually wish our day was robotic.
Mm-hmm.
So that, and I know that sounds weird, but I work out 5 days a week, so I get up at whether it's 5:45 or 6 every day. And then my kids can somewhat get themselves ready, or Jeff handles them, or whatever. There's a lot of yelling that goes on.
Whatever.
My kids are very self-sufficient, whether they want to be or not. However, though, I've told a lot of you before that they gripe, even in their younger days, they would gripe how much I work. And they still gripe on occasion. And then I say, well, let me know what you'd like to give up. And they're like, it's fine, go ahead and do what you need to do. So, and then I try to be here anywhere between 8:30 and 9. And then in a perfect world, I would be on the phone until around 11:30 or noon. I tend to intermittently do it throughout the day. 3 o'clock is full-blown gossip hour for me. 3 o'clock, and I've got to chit-chat. Like, we have got to talk about something. I mean, anything. I'll tell you about a funny story over the weekend. I'll tell you something my husband did. But 3 o'clock, I have got to chat. And then I kind of finish up the day. If I didn't get my calls in, I'll crank them out before I leave, and that's it. And I generally, or if I have a listing appointment during the day, or if we have to meet a buyer or whatever, and then if I have an appointment that night.
love to say we follow a schedule.
That is really, I have to say, that's
That
probably
is-
our
yes.
biggest focus right now. Is that becoming more robotic in
I'd
what
love
we
to
do.
talk to anyone that is very disciplined and follows their schedule very well.
Second?
Well, I guess it was just the lead gen as far as, I guess I've heard that you can either do it in the morning or 3 to 5, I guess is.
I would do whatever you can do.
Just to get it in.
And I have to tell y'all, I mean, remember,
Whatever.
you know, the goal is 20 a day, okay? You know what my goal is right now? 3.
Yeah.
All I wanna do is get in 3 calls to the database a day. If I've done 3, I mean, Sarah asks me every day, did you get your 3 calls in? Chunk it down. I mean,
We
do
do
what
a
you need
lot
to do.
of chunking
We
down.
do a lot of chunking down.
That's why I said from family reunion and places, we don't have more than 3 things to implement.
Ever.
Ever.
The business is hard enough as it is, y'all. I mean, day to day, it's hard enough as it is. I think life is hard, whole 9 yards. Yes, understand I work very hard, we work very hard. However, though, I'm very laid back about a lot of stuff, and I'm just not that rigid about a lot of things. I just can't be. I mean, you gotta answer to yourself more than anybody or your family, so. You just gotta figure out where that is, or you need to find one or multiple people that will hold you accountable. I just think it's really hard to do on your own. You have to find someone that'll support you on it. And if you haven't found that person, ask. And someone will, I'll help you find it.
My question was, what did you start doing in the beginning as far as appreciation of your clients? I know now you're paying $6,000 for an event, but just in the beginning, what were you doing to just show appreciation that may have not cost $6,000?
Little gift cards,
Gift cards?
just some gift cards.
Okay.
I am a little surprised how greedy people have gotten. Like, literally, like, people are like, well, young people today, corporate mindset, they're like, I mean, if you send them a Starbucks card, they're like, well, I mean, aren't you sending me like $500? Because I guess in the corporate world, you get those sort of things.
Right.
So I think I used to send out a survey. It was like a little kind of postcard, and they would write what their hobbies are, what they like, that sort of thing. So Kevin DeLine was one of these people that they always used to go to Lake Martin, and so they were big into boating. And I mean, they were in their 20s, and I knew his favorite boat store over on 120 Marietta Highway, and I got him a gift certificate to there. And I mean, it couldn't have been $25. I'm sure $25 got you nothing, but
Right.
it was more the personal touch of what they wanted versus a standard or what I wanted to give them.
Okay.
So more personal. I don't think it has anything to do with a dollar amount or anything. Andrew is a prime example in terms of everything that he does is very big A, is very personal. It's whether it's helpful. My love language is acts of service, so figure out what someone's love language or what their hot button is.
We try to make it not focus on the money. So that they're not like, oh, it's only this much. You know, that's why the tips treats is something instead of a monetary amount.
Yeah.
And the Starbucks card now that we send out is after they finish their due diligence period, it says, sit back, relax, grab a cup of joe on us, now that you're through that. So it is a monetary amount, and it's small, but it's tied to like, sit back, relax, have a cup of coffee.
But yeah, it happened to us back to back with 2 different people. We tried to get away from the actual monetary aspect.
Are you sending anything once they're through contingencies or just due diligence?
It is one or the other.
See Sarah.
See Sarah.
Yeah. Maybe they might get something.
What are your closing gifts typically?
I was gonna ask that.
They get a busy bucket, a doormat,
And a thank you.
oh, thank you.
And Christmas,
Oh, and Christmas they get a bundt cake,
ornament.
and an ornament.
Nothing bun cakes? Okay.
They get the big one,
Oh, that's.
decorated.
Like ornament like my first home type of thing.
Yeah, we do an ornament and we personalize it and put the year on it. And we hand deliver it to them.
And you handle what?
They are hand delivered. The bundt cake and the ornament are hand delivered to them.
one time I went head to head with Madeline for a listing, and I was at the listing appointment, and she had already had the listing appointment, and during my listing appointment, Sarah shows up with a bouquet of flowers for the person with whom I'm interviewing. And I was like, I think I'm done here.
What you should have said was, wait till you see what my assistant does.
Hindsight's very good. I literally, like, the wind came right out of my sails.
Well, I also, though, it only happened once. I would certainly go more with that as the winner. I did happen one time where I actually dropped off goggles and stuff because they were going on a trip before they were making their decision, and they said I was too. It was kind of too much.
Too much.
And
They're overbearing.
I was like, said no one ever. So I had to chalk that up as that was one person.
Right.
Nothing more.
Again, I still drive past that house every day, a little angry.
Do you drop off gifts after every listing appointment?
No.
Oh, okay.
Thank you note.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you,
note.
If I'm competing against Smite, I'm going all
We got interviewing or like
She knew I was interviewing right after.
We don't really get
It depends on if I'm competing.
Yeah.
She walked by your office and looked at your calendar.
She probably did.
As I kicked Andy Peters out of a listing one time, you're damn right they got flowers.
One time I walked out and I said, if you're not going to hire me, you should hire Andy Peters. Because I remember thinking, that at least they keep it in the family.
Yeah. I literally was like, the best was that we showed up and he was still there, and I literally was like, I literally walked in, I was like,
He was still at the table.
He was still at the table. I was like, your time's up. But I will tell you, watch how you'll up your game
When there's competition.
when there's competition. Like, oh, I had a pre-listing packet there. I mean, like, all of a sudden, like, every duck in his row. And then you ask yourself, why do I not do that every time? Why do I not do it every time? I mean, there is a system. Why am I,
Well,
and you feel so good about it when you've done it all right.
And like,
Just
obviously
talking about
listings
it.
are normal to compete, and for the first time, well, like this year, we had 2 people who like were direct referrals, and like, I went in and I was like, oh, this is gonna be just like a normal conversation, we'll talk about it, like, and then we'll, get them set up, go show him. He's like, oh, and like, we're interviewing 2 other agents and like a buyer consult, and I was like, that, like, I didn't.
We've had that a lot.
Oh,
it just.
they were interviewing 3 buyer's agents, and I interviewed with them and the mom was the referral. She's an agent. I spoke to her and spoke to him for an hour and 20 minutes on the phone in my car, in my garage.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
Well,
but then guess what? Then I had to tell him that you'd be working with Shannon. Okay, so then he was like, well, wait a minute, I'm not working with you. And I said, no, I would handle the sale. Shannon worked with the buy, and he's like, no, whatever. I said, I assure you, da 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 da. So then the next day, Shannon did a video, and we sent 6 testimonials to him via text.
Wow.
And
We got it.
Does that happen with a lot of buyers? That's only happened like twice.
Yes.
Even if they're a direct referral, you'll get.
I think more uncommon than not, people interview these days.
Oh, wow.
Especially as you move into a shifting market and you need to hug
That's
your
why you have
database.
to ask. You have to ask them before you meet them if they're interviewing anyone else.
I don't generally though. I will tell you, I didn't ask who. Nina's better about asking who it is, because then you can kind of figure out who it is, and gauge. I mean, like if you're competing against, Buckhead Betty's, I can outdo that. But
Karen Smythe, I mean.
I got that. But I don't ever ask the name. Nina will ask the name. All right, last question. Anybody? All right, thank y'all. Anybody?
Well, if you haven't signed in on the sign-in sheet,
I didn't
sign in.
go. I didn't go.
Sign in.
It's up here.
Oh, no.